What's up, everybody? As a follow-up to my thresholds conversation the other day, I wanted to go over something that's an adjacent, similar concept, but one that's also very important as a standalone concept on its own when it comes to achieving results, getting yourself fixed from dysfunction, right? So in this episode of Fixing Your Shit, we're going to talk about this dysfunction function optimization pattern. So when a lot of people come to me and they've been experiencing dysfunction for a long period of time, they think that they can just leapfrog from dysfunction to optimization. That by one good night of sleep or one good meal, by starting a workout plan, that they're automatically going to go from feeling like shit to optimal and seeing the craziest results ever. But what I'm going to tell you guys is that from a long time in this game, that's not how it works. We need to follow this natural order of, if you start in this dysfunction, and this dysfunction can be anything from gut issues, hormonal issues, whatever it is, usually things that are more chronically rooted in nature, and even something that's more acute, it just works on a shorter time scale, right? But it always goes some sort of dysfunction, and before you can get to this optimization, which is, we'll call this results land over here, you need to move through this function, this middle ground here, okay? Now, obviously, feeling better at all is some sort of progress, but to truly see the weight loss you want to see, or to fix your hormones, or to, have the digestive issues resolved that you've been experiencing, we need to first seek just the smallest amount of improvement in function. I always tell people, you don't know how good you can feel until you feel really good. And this is very true for this cycle here, because they'll start to feel a little bit better, and they're coming from a spot where they were so used to feeling like shit, they don't actually know what feeling good is like, so they start to feel a little bit better. And because we're starting to improve function a little bit, and then they start questioning, why am I not where I want to be? Why don't I have all this weight loss? Why isn't my thyroid function optimal yet? And it's been a couple weeks or a couple months, right? And if you're someone who is late 30s to even early 60s, think how many decades you've been experiencing this function, right? And so this dysfunction is very, very deeply rooted. You've not spent a lot of time in optimization or even function land, right? You've been in this dysfunction realm for so long that the first thing you need to focus on is moving that needle slightly towards function. And to start doing that, the one thing I want you guys to start working on is identifying the levers that you need to pull that make the biggest impact in moving you from dysfunction to function. This doesn't mean you need to have the most perfect plan. Of course, the more perfect plan you have, the faster you move into optimization and results land, right? But think about, what is the one low-hanging fruit I can hit that's gonna make the biggest impact? A lot of times it's something like stress or sleep, guys, let's be honest. And then it's usually food, and then it's usually some sort of activity. Obviously, rolling all this together is gonna be a little more optimal. But if someone is having gut issues and they're stressed every time they go to eat, and they have massive anxiety and all these things, that's not going to be conducive to motility, so you're going to have issues, right? Or you're putting your body through the ringer day in and day out, and you're not recovering. That's why you keep getting hurt. You got to look at the biggest lever that you can pull that's going to make the biggest impact possible. And if you can start to get really good at identifying those levers and the next action forward, this is part of my goal setting process I'll talk about in another video, then it's easier to start to move into function land and therefore optimization. So if you're someone who's been getting stuck, frustrated that you're not seeing the results that you want, you need to make sure you're just adjusting your expectations, not realizing that you can't go from dysfunction to optimization immediately. Even with the most perfect plan, you must spend time feeling better. And once you actually start feeling good, that's when your results really start to roll.